Hello, this is Data Trader Pro with a nightly market wrap. I've been asked by some subscribers to do these more often, and I think a good compromise is to try to do a quick one as opposed to a long 25 or 30 minute wrap and do them more often. So I'll try to do them every day, but they're probably only going to be about 5-6 minutes in length. So we'll try to do that from here on out. Okay. All right. So in terms of brevity, we better get going. All right, what should we start with? Obviously, we had a big update. This is an ES chart, a daily chart, and we're still respecting the descending trend line off the last local high. I put up a box. I moved the left side of the box over a little bit because we had quite a bit of movement in one day. The box hasn't moved at all, top or bottom. That was my target zone, but we had to move it this way to encapsulate today's candle. We finished the day right near the highs and basically still respecting this descending trend line. We have a 5-wave move down for all you Elliott wave aficionados. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a potentially a 3-wave move up. Although this looks very bearish, we're right into a resistance area around 2080 from this area and a prior high. And yeah, so I'll get into this more, but some things pointing to a potential sell-off again. But obviously, if we're wrong, I mean, this is just a wild ass guess, right? So always, price action wins, regardless of how it comes about all at once, or if it's a process of bullish buying over time, that remains to be seen. But basically our line in the sand is about this 2094 level before. Obviously, we break this high, we're probably going to go attack the old all-time high. But for now, we've seen some things in block trades and where volatility is positioned potentially, and also given the timing that I expect some volatility to come into play very soon and probably starting tomorrow. Okay, very quickly on this is a RTH, regular trading hours market profile. We shot straight up. The profile is very thin and very long and thin. We basically didn't touch even yesterday's. We gapped up, so basically we haven't even touched any of yesterday's value. Whether we get back into yesterday's value remains to be seen. But as far as today goes, we have a fairly incomplete looking profile up to the upside. I expect maybe a slightly higher high tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day in trading because of SPX. OPEX happens right on open. So generally what will happen pre-SPX OPEX or even equity OPEX is that they'll ramp it up. And then there's a day called Weird Wally Wednesday, which you can Google it. Basically the Wednesday prior to monthly OPEX, monthly equity OPEX is very important. And generally there's a lot of inventory adjustments that creates a lot of volatility. I expect at some point we have a single print down here at 63.50. I expect that at some point, it may not be tomorrow, maybe in the next couple of sessions, that'll get retested. That's essentially on a profile kind of like a gap, an open gap left. So there's unfinished business for volume and time to fill in there. So I expect a slightly higher high potentially. Maybe we peak above this the trend line and then start dropping. That's what I think might happen. Time wise, the date, what's supposed to happen tomorrow, it's kind of all pointing towards that, but we'll see. Obviously price action wins. Daily S&P 500, we broke above the descending trend line and now we're back testing it. So that may be a bit of a resistance level, although we have poked above it. So we'll see. A sustained move above this descending trend line is, of course, bullish. I'm not going to look at a lot on here other than to point you towards the bonds, which have stayed strong as even volatility is dropping. So, VXST is beaten down, the VIX is beaten down, the 30-day implied volatility. VXST, again, is 9-day implied volatility. VXV is 3-month implied volatility. It's all down, but bonds on all expiries. Well, all expiries. All what's the word for it? Yeah, you know what I mean. the 30-year, the 10-year, the 5-year, the 2-year, they're all up. So smart money's taking a safe haven play, even though VIX is dropping off. So that's what I wanted to point you to. We'll go to the site and we'll have a look at some things. Sectors pretty much all up. Retail was down slightly, but this is a very bullish posture. Pretty much everything is up. Commodities, indices, all sectors of indices are up, except a little retail was down. Indexes, the major indexes were all up with very little divergence between them. That's a quite bullish picture of total market fund. The internals heat map, NASDAQ very bullish, S&P 500 very bullish, but again much more bullish on those indices than they are on the broad exchanges. So only 2-to-1 on NASDAQ combined. A little over 3-to-1 on NYSE. You got a lot on the Dow. Russell was probably the most bearish internals wise. Had a bearish trend all day long today. So that can be a little bit of a canary in the coal mine, but not always. We'll move on. Trend we called a neutral range day. It was the readings were just shy of a bullish trend day, which it actually turned out to be. It didn't really care that it didn't call a bullish trend day. The readings were within a couple of percent of a bullish trend day, and it turned out to be that's what we got. Decent range today, not massive, a little over 20 SPX points, but when you see the dollar-weighted buying pressure trend up and not have any significant pullbacks, generally you can stay on the on the long side if it's doing this, or conversely if it's moving down, just stay on the short side. Very few pullbacks of any kind today, which we saw in the dollar-weighted. The DTB MCC, which is our version of the McClellan oscillator, it's an intraday, shorter, faster moving version of the McClellan, was green all day. Couple little pullbacks even when dollar weighted didn't pull back, but it basically stayed on highs all day. So this is very much a trend day on net volume. What you find is that it'll off open, it'll start at 0 and it'll just go in one direction. No pullbacks. All right, breadth. Breadth, I would say overall quite bullish today. Not massively. We didn't get the massive high readings. Like I said, on the exchange level, 2 and 3-to-1 were the readings instead of something like 8, 7, 8, 9-to-1, which is massively bullish. We spent a lot of time with Russell Trin in the red, and actually NASDAQ Trin spent some time in the red but finished off a little better. Russell the entire day in the red, pretty much. So volatility picture, volatility squeezed down. VVIX pretty flat today, so offering no advantage. We're looking, if we're going to get a move that we expect, which is some volatility, VXST will start it, being the shorter term expiry on it's a 9-day implied volatility versus VIX, which is 30-day implied volatility. So basically the way these gauges are set is you'll see a move start on VXST. It'll start left to right, like reading a book. You'll see the move start here, transfer over to here, this will go up, and if it's strong enough, it'll transfer over to 3-month implied volatility, which is VXV. So we want, hopefully we see a sustained move in this. Otherwise, our idea is wrong, and basically long is going to be the trade from here on for a little while. Block trades. SPY, at the end of the day, we had quite some size. We all told over 7 million. This was an interesting one, a pair of 1 million size trades live during the day, which I thought might mark a local top. We had this line of support. So basically, if we are to go down, we're going to be watching. There's quite a few trades. Draw a line straight through this level, 205.83. 205.83 also. Yeah, so basically use that line as your line of demarcation. That is likely to be support if we get a down move. If these are in fact buys, then we'll just stay bullish, and these will be support, right? So when we say if they're buys, what we mean by that is if price jumps up and then retests them as support and then continues back up, these will obviously be buys. So we just use them as lines of demarcation in order to mark our trades. Not too much in terms of block trades on the Qs, but you can see at this last level, 105.85 is your line of support. So we're still bullish, we're still way above there, so we'll see what happens. But we haven't had the big potential sell prints of what we've seen on SPY. We've seen a lot of supportive trades here on IWM. The Russell ETF at 111.27 roughly. Big guy here, 111.24. So we'll use that as a line, and we're bullish above, but we're starting to get some prints here at the end of the day. So nothing absolutely massive, under 500,000 there, 112.35. But it may be some early sells starting. We'll see. Volatility, block trades. We had quite a few down near lows. So initially we had some price shot up, down, we buy some more. You see the sells, so they buy here, sell a bit here, sell more here, and it shoots down. We had some what we thought were the beginnings of buys, but if they are, they're just layering into a longer term position, because there was quite a few down here, but price is now below that, significantly below that. So we'll have to be careful. They may have just been selling longs that were underwater, or they may be tranching into a very large new position. We'll have to see. But basically about $15 is the line. You want to see VXX to remain above $15. And I think that's about it for today. We're going to try to keep this brief. I've gone into a lot of detail, so hopefully you found that interesting and learned something, and keep following us. We'll try to do one of these every day. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you soon.